Hello students, welcome to this series on entrepreneurship. Today we are going to study the importance of location and layout for business ventures. Now let's study the objective of the study. The basic objective is to study the importance of location and layout for designing business enterprises. The impact of good layout and location on business can increase the efficiency. So, here we are going to study what is the value of designing a good layout for business enterprises. Now, a plant layout study is needed to analyze different physical configurations for manufacturing plant. It is also known as facilities planning and layout. Any enterprise which is at a startup phase needs a layout which needs to increase the operational efficiency. So, we are going to study in details how we are going to manage it. Facility layout. Facility layout may be defined as the arrangement of machinery, equipment and other amenities in a facility which should ensure a smooth movement of materials. Now, because we are in organizations where materials are moving, where people are sitting and where all the functions are being done. So, we are going to decide a layout that by minimum movements and with minimum wastage of resources, the functions can be done in an effective and efficient way. Now, facility layout and planning. The facility layout is the plan or the act of planning an optimum arrangement of facilities including personnel, operating equipments, storage space, material handling equipment and other supporting services. So, this layout plan would include planning for everything, that is how people are sitting, how materials are being stored, how the flow of material is decided. So, this would give a coordinated impact to the organization to work in a systematic way. Now, the objectives of the facility layout include it is to minimize the investment in new equipments, it would it is to utilize space most efficiently, it is to maintain a flexible arrangement, it is to facilitate manufacturing in a good way, it is to minimize production time, it is to provide worker convenience and safety, minimize material handling cost and facilitate organizational structure. So, we are going to design a structure of organization where people get comfort and convenience to sit, where there is safety for their health, where there is minimum wastage of resources, that is how do we manage your utilities in terms of electricity and in terms of equipment handling. So, that the kind of the investment which is coming up into new equipments is also minimum, as more space is not needed to create it. So, we are going to keep ample of spaces for expansion and also for growth. Need for plant layout study. The entrepreneurs need the ability to design and operate manufacturing facilities to adapt to the changing technological and market requirements. They need to reduce the cost of operations through better control. Now, the layout and the design has to be done in such a way that there is always space for updation and there is always space for more coordination of equipments as we are changing according to the changing times and the market requirements. So, we are going to design our infrastructure in such a way that we keep space for growth and development. Now, let us study the effective plant layout design. The effective plant layout design can solve the problems of the business, can build a higher product variety, can supply goods with shorter delivery times, change with shorter product life cycles, respond to the unpredictable demand in the market, build cost effective processes for good control. Now, the machines have to be designed in such a way that the products are having shorter product life cycles, that is maybe they are needed in the market for 1 year or for 6 months. So, a machine should not go outdated. The machine should be designed in such a way that you can change the caps or you can change the parts of the machines and can design new variety of products, as designs and options are needed by the customers at a very fast rate. The machine should operate in such a way that the kind of the flexibility of the demand has to be met in the market, and sometimes the demand is so urgent that you need to work out with shorter delivery periods or notices. Now let us study plant layouts and investment efficiency. Investment efficiency now requires that manufacturing facilities be able to shift quickly from one product line to another without major retooling, re-resourcing, configuration and replacement of equipment. Now, plant layouts have to be designed in such a way because the product innovations, growth and designs are changing. So, the shift of the machines from one product line to another can be done in an easy way without much re-resource reconfiguration or retooling. That is, the machines now are designed in such a way that you are able to change only the front knobs, or you are able to change the front parts of the machines and can create new options for the customers. So, the resource layout has to be done in such a way, it has to be done by technical people who can understand how machines can shift from one product to another line. Now, let us study the advantages of good plant layout. It improves investment planning. The design manufacturing facilities to make several products simultaneously becomes easy. The design flexibility of operations can save cost. It can improve the industrial productivity. Now, if your layout is very technical and is done through good engineers, it would meet out the functions of the value addition, that is, the products are being changed in market at a very fast rate. So, the machine and the equipment layout is designed in such a way that it can simultaneously cover the range of products, work with many options, and it can look into the cost, that is, the cost is reduced, and it can also utilize your ability to do investment in such a way that upgradations are added easily. Now, value addition through good plant layout design. It increases the work efficiency, it helps in planning employees' requirements, it reduces material wastage, and it works with full operational capacity of machine and equipment. So, good layout can solve all your problems of reducing the wastage, of doing unnecessary investment, giving you a kind of a space and a gap to innovate and design or upgrade your machines. So, these all requirements are done through good plant layout structures. Now, facility location planning. The location analysis helps in reducing the transportation cost, decreasing the cost of production and identifying proximity to the sources of raw materials. Now, when you are doing the location analysis, here it is important that the amount of petrol or diesel which you are using to transport raw material to the plant has to be reduced. It is the number of unnecessary movements has to be reduced in order to create an assembly line which is very near to the sourcing of materials or to the storage facilities or to the warehouses. Factors affecting facility location decisions basically relate to the availability of power, transportation, suitability of climate, government policy, competition between states and availability of labor. So, whatever facilities or amenities you are creating, they have to be done in such a way that they cover the legal perspectives, that is, they should not give pollution to the environment, they should look into the safety of the labor and the employees who are working there. If there is some kind of inflammable or there is risky material which is used in factories, it should be at distant places so that the risk is reduced. The planning has to give an advantage of maintaining the temperatures, giving you proper sunlight. It should minimize the usage of electricity. It should give you good ventilation. So, if you do a kind of a planning beforehand, you can save lot of resources through good architectural designs and also through good layouts of machines and through uh, positioning your facilities in locations where options of growth can be increased. Now, factors affecting facility location decisions relate to civic amenities for workers, existence of complementary and competing industries, finance and research amenities, availability of water and firefighting facilities. Now, if you are organizing a facility for your workers, you need to look areas where you are working. They need to be near to the training centers and to the research centers. We can collaborate with competitors also to create common facilities which can save your cost. The kind of the community hall and the seminar halls can be jointly used. So, we have to design our institutions and organizations in such a way that we can do alliances with other people to save cost. We have to choose the locations in such a way that the facilities of warehousing and of competitors can be common, the transportation cost can be saved, and here you can save the rental cost and other cost for your organization. Now, process for designing location analysis. First is identify important factors, develop location alternatives, evaluate the alternatives, make a decision and select the location. Now, selecting a location is an important analysis for organization, because if you buy a very big location in a very posh area, it will be very costly. So, it will increase the fixed cost of the business. We can buy a small location in a posh area and can buy a little less costly location in a far off location to manage our materials or to manage our employees through call centers. So, we have to decide how do we balance the cost of being in the market and how to use our exterior locations also. The call centers and the other facility oriented centers where the connectivity can be there can be done from distant locations also. The customer contact centers which are giving you physical connections with the customer should always be in posh areas, because here the clientele will be more, and this will give you the index and the face of your company to be connected with good avenues and the options of the market. Now, let us study the techniques to choose location decisions for business ventures. First is center of gravity technique. Center of gravity technique. This technique emphasizes on the transportation cost in the determination of facility location. Transportation cost mainly depends on distance, weight of merchandise and the time required for transportation. That is, center of gravity is where is your organization, how you are sourcing your material, what is the cost of your goods which is needed in order to transport. If your goods are light weighted, you can obviously pull up your materials in one vehicle, but if your weight of your materials is high, you need 2-3 trucks, so your cost would increase. So, it basically depends on the weight, the distance and the type of business in which you are. Higher is the um, center of gravity far, that is your source of supply is far off from your main operational ground, it will increase the cost. So, we have to decide what are our markets, how do we manufacture, how do we balance all the activities of the business needs a detailed technical setup and a study in order to minimize the cost. Then is the transportation technique. This evaluates multiple transportation routes of shipping goods from multiple origins to multiple destination and finds and develops the least cost route. Now, when we are studying our markets and we are studying the sources of supply and we have manufacturing organizations. So, we have multiple destinations from where materials can come. We have multiple manufacturing organizations from where materials can be made. So, you have to do a kind of a permutation combination to match up with all the combinations and see which is the least cost route, and here will be the best possible option to give you the optimum revenue for your company. This is the company has to decide on the basis of the kinds of the operation and the number of markets being covered. Now, the layout facility factors basically affect the cost of materials, the type of the products, the machinery, the type of the industry, management policies, process of facility layout designing, information gathering, production and material flow analysis, and support services. So, the basic factors which impact the layout design depends on the type of the products or the materials used. It also depends on the merchandise variety collected. It also depends on the market makers, that is who are the people who are using the products, where they are residing, which kind of area is being covered. So, the geographical destinations, the suppliers destination, and your product variation also impacts the cost of facility designing and also the layout for selecting the best option. The product layout. The product layout, in this type of layout, it is used in cases where services are organized in a sequence. That is, product layout is designed when you are dealing with one product and this product has to give services to the customers. So, there will be a sequence that you are moving from A to B and there is a simple assembly line, that is you are arranging the materials in a sequence to make the final product. So, this product layout is simple and is used in a detailed way when company is dealing with one product. Process layout. The process layout, these layouts are highly common in service facilities as they successfully deal with the varied customer processing requirements. Now, process layout is designed in organizations where service processes are very complicated, like when you are working at airports. So, there would be different departments who would look to the visa aspects, who would look to the uh, grievances of passport lost, or who will look to the luggage lost, or who are going to look into the ticketing options. So, here we are deciding the organization structure and the facility layout according to the process of the services required for the customers. The design and the layout of the structure would be to give convenience to the customer and to save cost and time so as to reach to the final destination. Fixed position layout. The fixed position layout. In this type of service layout, materials, labor and equipments are brought to the customer's place. This layout is used in services like appliance repair, landscaping and home remodeling. Now, fixed position layout is, that is, the customer cannot come to you, but he needs your services to get his appliances fixed in his houses, to do his landscaping of garden. So, here they will be a kind of a company will have a fixed layout and according to the options of the customers they are going to choose the best and give him that particular layout which is important for their cost and operations. Now, the surface facility layouts. We have warehouse and storage layouts. The layout of warehouse and storage facilities are designed by considering the frequency of order. Items that are ordered frequently are placed near the facility entrance. However, items that are not ordered frequently are placed at the rear of the facility. So, we are also designing the facility layout for warehousing and logistics, where materials which are frequently ordered, they are which are of mass consumption are positioned near the entrance, and the materials which are rarely used or are costly, they are kept at a rear side. That is, you need not use these materials daily basis. So, these materials have a distant location. Now, the facility layout techniques, they apply to the various industries like hospitals, schools, workstations, banks, airports. You have factories, you have shopping centers, offices, cubicles, manufacturing cells and warehouses. There is a large number of organizations who are using the concept of facility design and layout to organize their structures and their operations to give best services to the customers. Higher is the systemization of service, lesser is the cost and lesser is the confusion for the customers. Even the services and the manufacturing organizations both need to design the facilities and the equipments and materials in such a way that they give a coordinated and a cost effective impact to the customers. Now let's study the summary of this lecture. The effective plant layout and location can help in building the organizational resources for increasing productivity and economic output for the country also. Now, the systemization of the layout and location can help industries and also entrepreneurs to design their business ventures in such a way that the investment efficiency is increased. Their funds need to be invested in options which are giving maximum services to the customers. If a service in a facility can be generally achieved through rental basis, then it can be more cost effective, because to create a service facility would require lot of investment and a gestation period. So, leasing, renting and using common facilities can also be option for good layouts and for good designs. Coming into, like, you have options of designs, you can choose from technological parks also, you can choose from government options also, to connect with these sectors and give the best possible services to the customers. I hope the students must have understood the concept and importance of good plant location, layout and design for saving the cost. Thank you, students.